everyone, I'm Fiona White. I'm from Griffith University in Australia. I'm going to be talking to you today general information about Griffith, the lifestyle, housing, programs available. So I'll just go through all of that information first, and then at the end of the session, if you've got any questions, then you can type those through. Just to let you know, when we do get to the questions, there is a slight delay from when you type them to when we see them. So we will respond to all of your questions, but just expect a little bit of delay. At Griffith University, we work with KOM consultants. They're our partner in Canada who facilitate students moving over to Griffith University in Australia to take their studies over there. You can contact them on info@komconsultants.com with any additional questions that you have. So a bit about our university. We are based, as I say, in southeast Queensland. It's subtropical climate. We have 5 campuses, 3 of which are up in Brisbane. One is probably about 20 minutes south of Brisbane, and then the Gold Coast, which is the biggest campus, is, as you would guess, on the coast by the sea, and that's about an hour south of Brisbane. So the Gold Coast has about 17,000 students. There's across most faculties that we offer is based on the Gold Coast. That's where I actually work as well, so if you're there then you should probably see me around campus. Up at Brisbane we have the South Bank campus, which is for Queensland College of Art and Queensland College of Music. So if you specialise in art or music, then you'd be up in Brisbane. That's actually a really beautiful campus. It's right on the river in the centre of the city, and you can see photographs of that campus on our website as well. The Nathan campus is a bush campus, so you can expect to see gum trees and koalas, and some people say there's bush pigs walking around. I haven't seen any, but it's possible. So there's a lot of environment courses, languages, also psychology and humanities as well. The Logan campus is the Human Services and Social Work. That's a very specific specialised campus. It's the smallest campus that we have, and that's the one that's about 20 minutes south of Brisbane. And then we have Mount Gravatt, which is a lot of criminology and psychology courses there, which is really only about 10 minutes from the Nathan campus, and there's actually a bus that goes in between. So some students do mixed courses at Mount Gravatt and Nathan. So Brisbane is the capital of Queensland. It's a very big international city. That's kind of the place where you would fly into Queensland if you were coming over to Gold Coast. Is a lot more of a holiday destination. As the name suggests, it's got nice golden sandy beaches. There's a very vibrant city centre, which is Surfers Paradise, which is internationally known. And the campus is about 10 minutes from there. So if you're travelling to the campus for your studies, you could be living in Surfers right by the beach and then just get a 10-minute bus journey up to campus. Very relaxed lifestyle in Australia, similar to Canadians. I'm actually from the UK, so you may guess by my accent. But so Australia, from what I see, is very relaxed. Similar lifestyle to the Canadians have, except a little bit warmer at times. The housing, there's options for on and off-campus accommodation. The on-campus accommodation is offered at the Nathan campus up in Brisbane and at the Gold Coast campus. Up at Nathan there's a choice of catered or non-catered. So the cost, you're looking at about $300 for catered accommodation and about $130 to $150 for non-catered accommodation. Down at the Gold Coast, it's actually operated by an external company, so you'd have to refer to our website to get the full details of how that's offered and the prices for that. Off-campus accommodation, you'd be looking at probably about $120 to $200 a week, depending on how many people you're sharing with, and if you go for a slightly older, for a slightly newer style accommodation. Lots of students actually recommend that you go for on-campus accommodation for the first semester. It just gives you the semester to get to know people at university. It means that you can concentrate on your studies while you're first there, get to know the area, and it gives you a chance to get to know which area you'd actually like to live in once you go to off-campus accommodation. And then once you're comfortable and you know what you're doing with the studies, you know how the university works, and you know the area, you've got some friends, and then move off campus afterwards if you choose to do so. So the faculties that we have, we offer courses across most major faculties. We actually have a hospital that's being opened later this year on the Gold Coast campus. So they've invested over $1 billion in a brand new hospital which opens this year. So if you're studying in the health areas, then you'll be practicing possibly towards the end of your degree in that hospital on campus. So it'll be state-of-the-art, brand new facilities. They're also opening up a brand new health building for the health faculty on the Gold Coast campus, so that was a major investment that we're carrying out this year as well. If you have any questions that are coming to you right now, then you can start popping those up on the screen as well. I understand that a lot of you are from colleges looking to come to Griffith, and if you've done a 3-year college program here in Canada, then generally speaking you do a year at Griffith to get a degree. If you've done a 2-year program here in Canada, then you'd probably be looking at a 1.5 years at Griffith to have a degree. Also, I understand a lot of you are doing physio and dentistry or looking to do those at Griffith. With the dentistry, that's actually reciprocated. So when you returned back to Canada, you wouldn't have any troubles using your degree from Griffith over here in Canada. Obviously, if you're not sure or you have any more questions about which articulation you want to do from college over to Griffith, KOM consultants have all the details of every pathway and every option that's open to you. Another advantage of studying at Griffith is that we actually have an exchange program. We're partnered up with over 230 universities worldwide. So if you came to Griffith, then you'd be able to, say, study in Australia for most of your degree and take a semester or even a year to go over to Europe or America, a little bit close to home maybe, or you could even go to Asia to study. So you'd actually get a really worldly experience by doing that. Somebody's asked just how the school year and school holidays work. We run on 2 semesters, and so the first semester runs from February through to June. It's about a 17-week semester, and then semester 2 starts in July and runs through until the end of September. So we have our Christmas holidays as the biggest, longest holiday, because that's the middle of summer for us in Australia. If you came over, then you would actually be able to work while you're there as well. So on the student visa, I think it's about 40 hours a fortnight that you're allowed to work. But in the school holidays, you can actually do full-time work while you're there. For those of you who are coming over from colleges, KOM consultants offer 20 scholarships of up to $3,000. That's based on academic records and also personal statements. And if you want more information about those scholarships, then you can contact KOM consultants. Their toll-free telephone number is 1877 318 8203, or as I said earlier, their email address is info@komconsultants.com. If anybody's got any further questions, then you can put those through now. Griffith is also a top 10 research university in Australia. Some of the major areas that they're doing research into is environment, biotechnology. In the health department, they're actually doing drug discovery, one of them being research into cures and vaccines for malaria. It's one of the very proud things for Griffith that we're a major research university in Australia, and that's one of the reasons why they're actually in the top 5% of global universities on 4 of the most credible rankings in the world. Somebody's just asked, can students work while they are studying, and what is the minimum wage? The minimum wage, I believe, is around $15 to $18 an hour. That I would check with immigration. While you're studying, you're allowed to work up to 40 hours a fortnight. They do it by fortnight rather than by week. So that means you could do 10 hours a week and then 30 hours the next week. But it's on in consecutive weeks. So that means that after that 30 hours a week, you couldn't then do another 20-hour week because that would total 50. During the school holidays, though, you can actually work full-time while you're in Australia. Someone's asked, can you please explain how this... Oh, no, sorry. If students want to apply for February 2014, when should they apply? That really depends on the program. Some programs will have different deadlines. It's best to check with KOM consultants either after this session because they can give you specific deadlines for the program that you're applying for. There's over 3,000 students who have studied at Griffith University. It's very popular with Canadians, and there's actually a Facebook group and also a Canadian society that's set up. So once you came to Griffith, you had a big support network of Canadian students, so you never feel very far away from home. In terms of support while you're at Griffith as well, we have a very well set up support network for students, and specifically for international students. So if you have any concerns while you're there, even if it's just you're feeling homesick or you're struggling with studies, we have international student advisors who are familiar with every aspect of student life, and they're available from Monday to Friday at all campuses to help you with any issues that you're having. The campus, we've just had a question, if students want to, the film and television someone's asking about. So we do have a Griffith Film School, but that's actually based at South Bank. It's very renowned in Australia, and it's specifically at that campus. So if you came to do film and television, you would be studying in Brisbane, the centre of Brisbane at the South Bank campus. Campus for tourism and hotel management, somebody is asking about. That's a little bit more spread across, so you could probably choose between the Gold Coast and the Nathan campus. Mostly you would probably be studying at the Gold Coast campus, because that's where you'd get the majority of the courses taking place. It's actually a really huge faculty on the Gold Coast is the business school, and that the tourism and hotel management comes under the business school. Someone's asked that they're going into business. Is there going to be another business-specific webinar later this month? There's going to be a couple of webinars later on this month from our university specific to areas. One of them will be business, and the other one will be criminology and also aviation. So to get details for those, just head to the KOM website the same way you did for this webinar, and you can sign up for those and get more information and specifics on the programs that you're interested in. Someone's asked where you can get more detailed information on application requirements for programs. You can head to the Griffith website, but also I would suggest primarily you speak directly to KOM consultants, as they're our major partner in Canada, and they would know the requirements that you need for every program at Griffith, and would be able to help you with the whole application process and make sure that you've got all the documentation that you need for your application. Someone's asked how many subjects you study each semester. It's considered a full-time workload to do about 40 credits a semester. Some people do 30 credits a semester. That's equivalent to about 10 hours a week. So that would maybe 4 to 6 hours on campus, and the other hours would be made up of your personal study time. With the on-campus hours, that we can have a mixture of lectures, seminars, workshops, tutorials and labs. Obviously that depends on which subjects you're taking as to how it's made up. The lectures would be a very big cohort of students, so you probably have anything from 150 to 300 students in a lecture, and then that will break out into smaller sessions, what we call tutorials, where you have more discussions and one-on-one conversations with the tutor. Someone's asked what the Gold Coast is like. The Gold Coast is very sunny. It's a coastal town, obviously, and there's the hinterland mountains in the background, so you get freshwater springs, which is great on a summer's day. The sea can get a little bit rough at times, which is good for surfers. It stretches all the way down. It's a long white sandy beach, but when the sea does get a little bit rough and you still want to cool off in summer, you can go up into the hills and go to the freshwater swimming hole. It's a very calm, relaxed lifestyle, but there is lots to do in terms of nightlife on the Gold Coast, and also activities around. It's actually the place where we have a couple of major theme parks. So we have Wet and Wild, which is a big attraction in the summer, and Movie World, where they actually used to film movie sets for major films in the US, and also Dream World, which is also got a water park, and Sea World. So there is a lot to do on the Gold Coast, and also the advantage of it is that you are by the sea in a slightly smaller community, but you're so close to Brisbane, so if you wanted something of the city life, to go to the theatre or just to explore it, it's only an hour trip away. Somebody's asked about graphic design. Graphic design, you'd have a choice of studying either at the Gold Coast campus or primarily you would be going to the South Bank campus. Some of it will obviously require a portfolio, but that's something you can talk to KOM consultants about to get the requirements. So when you first come over to Australia, lots of people actually take time on site before they explore Australia, and also during semester you get the mid-semester break. Obviously you'll be studying as well, but it's also an opportunity to have a look around Australia and see what else there is to offer. From Brisbane and the Gold Coast, there's an airport at both, so it's very easy to get down to Sydney or to Melbourne for the weekend, just to see another side of Australia and what the other cities are like. There's on campus, there's lots of travel services. So at the Nathan and Brisbane campuses, there's a company called STA Travel, and they can facilitate your travel experiences while you're at Griffith University. Canadian student loans. You can get loans to fund your studies at Griffith, and you can speak to KOM consultants about the options that are available to Canadian students. You can obviously also work while you're there, but we do suggest that that doesn't fund your studies, it just supplements your spending money so that you can enjoy yourself while you're over there. Someone's asked, do students generally open an Australian bank account before arriving? I'm not sure what students generally do. You can do it very easily once you're there. It's not an issue at all with opening a bank account. You might want to get there because there are a number of options to decide from. We recommend two banks, ANZ and NAB, mainly because they have ATMs, which is the cash points, on campus. So it just means that you escape transaction fees by using those ones on campus. We would definitely recommend that you get an Australian bank account. If you're just using your Canadian account, then obviously you're going to get all the international transaction fees, which is a bad way to lose money. You don't want to be giving your money to the banks, you want to be spending it in Australia. And also, if you're working while you're over there, then you would get your wages paid directly into your Australian bank account. If anybody's got any more questions or general information about Griffith or the Gold Coast or Brisbane, then feel free to write them through. Someone's written, what type of clothing is required? So winter you probably get to a low of about 15 degrees centigrade. So coming from this winter, it's not going to be very cold at all. Right now it's about 30 degrees in summer. Obviously the height of summer is December, January, and then it can get up to 35, even more. But yeah, you won't need your jackets. You won't need your down jackets or your thick jumpers or your snow boots at all. Not unless you're planning to go to New Zealand for a winter, where you really won't need your Canadian winter gear for there either. It does get cooler in the evenings in winter, but cooler means 15, maybe down to 10 degrees in the evening, but that's very rare. So just a thin jacket. You can pack light. Layers is the key, but mainly you'll be wearing summer clothing for the majority of the time. It'll be a big change from Canada. Somebody said they want to achieve their BA in social work. What campus should they apply to? BA in social work is actually, that's now offered at the Gold Coast campus as well. The major campus for that is the Logan campus. So that depends what kind of lifestyle you want, as you can choose either. The Gold Coast is going to be a more vibrant campus than Logan. Logan does have the speciality of social work, but it's based, as I said before, it's about 20 minutes south of Brisbane, which means it's kind of halfway in between the Gold Coast and Brisbane, whereas the Gold Coast campus is bang centre in the Gold Coast. So it depends what lifestyle you're looking for, but you can choose between those two. Someone's asked, will they get a chance to travel around Australia while as a student? Yes, you will. Depending on how you plan your return to Canada, you'll obviously have the school holidays. So the longest holiday is the Christmas holiday, and that's the best opportunity to travel. It's also the hottest, so it might be an idea to plan where you want to go in which holiday. For example, if you want to go to Alice Springs to see Ayers Rock, I wouldn't go in the summer because last summer it got up to 50 degrees in that area, so it's not very pleasant. It's a good place to go in winter though, because it's still going to be very warm. Also, there's so many places to go. It's a huge country. It's probably similar size to Canada. So you can go up to Cairns to see the Great Barrier Reef. That any time of year, that's going to be amazing. Beware of jellyfish. But if it is jellyfish season, then they give you stinger suits, so there's no danger there. And all the beaches are patrolled, so that's not a problem at all. But a very good place for scuba diving. It's obviously got some of the top destinations in the world for scuba diving, so that's something that you can experience while you're over there. So someone's asked, do Griffith Health Science students have access to the new hospital at the Gold Coast? Yes, they will. If you've got practical placements, then those are most likely going to be at that university hospital. It only opens this year, so they're finishing it off as we speak. So it should be opening in the second semester of 2013. So if you're due to start in 2014, then you would be working in there. As I said before, they're also that faculty on the Gold Coast has got a brand new facilities being built, which are also opening this year. That includes for dentistry students as well. So the dentistry school at the moment is based in Southport, which is about 5 minutes away from campus by car. But that's actually moving over at the end of this year to the main campus on the Gold Coast. So that will also have brand new facilities for training while you're there. So someone said they live in Canada. Where to live for that 1 year and a half, places and price. So if you're in, I'm guessing you mean if you're in Australia for a year and a half, I would suggest that you stay on campus for the first semester, so maybe for the first 6 months. That would give you an idea and a time to explore of where else you wanted to live. It would also make it a lot easier, a lot less stressful for trying to find accommodation while you're not actually in the and also it means you're on campus and you're close to your school, close to all your classes, so it makes it very stress-free for the first 6 months. And then once you're settled, you're more comfortable, you've got friends, then maybe think about moving off campus to get a different experience. Someone's asked, do international students get priority in student accommodation on the campuses? I know that they do on the Gold Coast. It is a first come, first served basis. But just to give you an idea, I know that Canadian students generally move away from home for university. That's not necessarily the case for Australian students. So a lot of Australian students will be living either off campus with friends, or they'll be living with their parents still. So international students, there is a very international air on campus accommodation, because we have around 11,000 international students at Griffith out of about 43,000 students in total. So it is a very international university. But you're not likely to have trouble getting on-campus accommodation. But obviously, the earlier you apply, the better. So somebody's asked what kind of student housing is available on the Gold Coast campus. They have apartments on the Gold Coast campus, so it's split up into about 6 or 7 buildings, and they have anything from 2 to 5 people sharing an apartment. They also have a swimming pool on that campus accommodation, which is great for the summer, and really social campus. They have basketball courts and a movie room, a little on-campus shop. While you're there, they actually organise nightly activities. They might have a cooking night. There's a fully equipped kitchen there for your use, and they do cooking lessons. They also do huge events. They have movie nights, and they work with a number of places in town as well to offer you sort of bus trips into town. It's only probably 10 to 15 minutes into Service Paradise from the on-campus accommodation, so not very far at all, and there are bus links as well. So in that apartment on the Gold Coast, you would have your own private bedroom. Obviously, you're equipped with a desk and a wardrobe and a bed while you're there. And then You'd have a small lounge area and also a kitchenette, so it's only microwaves in those kitchens. But as I say, they do food offers during the week, like they'll have a pizza night, a taco night, and they also have the kitchen that you can use as well. So someone's asked how the pathway programs work and where can you find more information. It works if you do a 3-year diploma here in Canada, then you generally have about a year program at Griffith, which would translate to your degree. And the same way, if you do a 2-year program here, then it'll be about a year and a half at Griffith. KOM consultants have details of every single pathway that you can possibly do to come to Griffith. So if you want specific information about programs, then just contact KOM consultants and they'll be able to help you with all the details of those. So if you want to apply for July 2013, which is a Smart Semester 2 start, or February 2014, KOM have just said on there, which you may have seen, it's a good time to apply now. So if you get your application in soon, you can start looking at what program you're interested in, talk to consultants about the pathways if you're coming from a college here in Canada, and then you could be with us on the Gold Coast in the sunshine in February next year. So I'll just give you a moment to come through with any further questions because there is a slight delay on those questions coming through. If we end before you get your question answered, then don't hesitate to contact KOM consultants because they'll be able to answer any questions you have about Griffith and about Australia as well. There will be webinars later this month for the Faculty of Business, Criminology and Aviation. They're 3 separate webinars. So if you just go onto the KOM Consultants website, then you can sign up for those webinars and get specific information about those programs, including entry requirements, duration, and also specifics on the actual courses that you'll be doing as well. Somebody's asked, is part-time work easy to find as a student and how much do you make as a student? Do people tip bar staff? Tipping's not a culture in Australia, but the average wage is a lot higher. So you'll probably be getting about $18 to $20 working in a bar. Some people will tip, but it's not as standard, so you shouldn't expect tips. If you get them, then it's a bonus. It's pretty easy to find work. There's obviously going to be a lot more opportunity in Brisbane for work because it's a bigger city. That also means that there's more people for the jobs. We do have help on campus to find work. There's various job boards, and also on the Gold Coast there's the Student Guild. That's like the student organisation that provides services, and also the student bar. But they give help on jobs and how to find them and where to find them. The best thing to do though really is to take your CV or your resume and take that around town, hand it out to bars, hand it out to restaurants, get to know people and bug them. Go back if they don't get back to you straight away. The more you persevere, the more likely you are to get a job. But people don't tend to have an issue. Someone's asked a question about architecture. We do have architecture courses. There's the School of Environment actually offers an architectural degree. And info on advertising. Advertising, you would be looking at studying at the South Bank campus. Again, if you want more specifics about exact programs available, then speak to KOM consultants. We do have over 300 degrees available at Griffith. So there's obviously going to be a huge number, and this is just more general information, but KOM consultants will have details of every single program that you're interested in. Someone's just asked me to go over the semesters again. So yes, semester 1 is February to June, and then the second semester starts in July, August and runs through until the end of September. Semesters are about 17 weeks long, and you also have a week's break in the middle of each semester. The exams are at the end. They run for about 2 weeks, but the timetables for exams are just released probably about a month before. Are students allowed to go home for Christmas holidays? You're allowed to go wherever you like in the Christmas holidays. You can go home, you can go to Thailand, you can go to Tasmania or anywhere else in the world. You're not restricted in your holidays whatsoever. That's your free time to do whatever you like. You can travel Australia or see somewhere else in the Asia Pacific. Student visas definitely allow you to travel. They don't restrict you at all. You can leave the country and come back to the country without any problems at all. Someone's asked, do I submit my dental application to Griffith or KOM? You would submit that directly to KOM consultants. and they'll be able to help you out with any entry requirements you're not sure on, and ensure that you have all the documentation needed. So just to give you an idea of prices again as well, rent you're looking at around $150. Food for a week you can obviously do very cheaply. It's cheaper the more people you cook with. If you share food, it's a lot cheaper. You're probably spending something from $70 to $120 a week. Internet around $10 a week. You obviously get internet provided on campus, but a lot of people get the USB sticks for the internet for your home as well. Entertainment, you could spend very little or a huge amount on entertainment, so that's really for you to decide how much you want to spend. And obviously if you have a part-time job, then that can supplement all of those things as well. Someone's asked, if I stay in Australia for 2 years, do you think I will have an Australian accent? That depends on who you are. I've met a Canadian who's been there for over 8 years and they don't have an Australian accent whatsoever. But what I find, I've been there for 3 years and I find certain words you pick up are a little bit Australian. But everyone in England that's used to hearing me speaking obviously English the whole time, they think I sound Australian. But Australians still think I have an English accent. So it depends how many Australians you're speaking to. If you hang out with Canadians all the time, then it's very unlikely that you'll pick up an Australian accent. But if you spread out a little bit more, get to know the locals, then I wouldn't be surprised if you come back with a few Australianisms. That's all part of the experience, and you can put on the Australian accent and see if people believe you're actually Australian while you're there. I sometimes get called Australian, but English people would definitely say I sound Aussie, and Aussies kind of think that I'm a bit of a hybrid. But it depends how susceptible you are to picking up the accent. Okay, so just to round it up briefly while you've got any final questions coming through. We're a university of about 43,000 students, 25% of which is international students. We've got 5 campuses. We've got a huge business school, engineering, environment, health, also humanities and arts as well, spread across 5 campuses in Brisbane and the Gold Coast. There are a huge number of opportunities available to college and university students from Canada. We have a large number of Canadian students coming over, and KOM consultants are our partner in Canada that will help you with all the information and the application process as well. They're kind of the gurus in Canada, if you like, for all of you guys and all of your applications. I'd just like to say thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget that there are webinars later this month for criminology, business and aviation. If you want any more details on programs other than those, then just contact KOM consultants and they'll be more than happy to help you. I'd like to say thank you for joining us again, and we hope to see you in Australia soon, and hopefully we'll get you some Aussie accents while you're there as well.